there's one thing the internet loves, it's do-it-yourself videos. And we're no different, but instead of teaching you how to turn an IKEA shelf into a lopsided IKEA shelf, we're coming at you with some actually helpful DIY mental health tips. Well, none of these tips are replacements for therapy. They can work in conjunction with it and have been shown to improve mental health. And unlike hot gluing rhinestones onto a secondhand purse, won't hurt to try. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Your brain evolved in a simpler time. The good old days where all it had to worry about were bears jumping out of bushes and eating you alive. Simple problems with simple solutions, like running away or fighting back. What we here at Amygdala Farms call the fight or flight response. Fight or flight, helping you see bears in everyday stresses since 10,000 BC.
Yeah, that's a problem. Okay, our antique caveman brain doesn't know the difference between a bear and things like paying for college or being stuck in traffic. This emergency reaction by your brain results in feelings of anxiety and depression. So if those are things you struggle with, then looking at managing your fight, flight, freeze response might be a good place to start for better managing your mental health. There are things you can do to help keep your brain from spending so much time in fight or flight mode. First up, exercise. Why? Why does it have to be exercise? I wouldn't want to do it. Okay, listen. There's a reason that people keep telling you to exercise, right? Unfortunately, it works. Like, really well. Ugh. When you have to make an intimidating presentation at work, your brain wants to save you from the threat by either running or throwing down, both of which involve physical exertion. When that doesn't happen, your body thinks you're still in trouble, so it stays in that dysregulated state. Exercise provides the resolution that your brain is looking for, telling it that you have escaped the danger. You're fine, you're safe now, everything's okay. It's completing the cycle. I know that exercise can be a chore at the best of times, let alone when you're feeling like you can't get out of bed. That's why it's important to pick an activity that you actually enjoy. If the term exercise conjures images of jacked gym bros yelling at you for not knowing the difference between a rock, a jerk, and a snatch, then maybe reframe it for yourself as movement instead of exercise. As long as you're moving your body, you're winning. Do some yoga, go for a walk, stretch, crank some music, and have a solo dance party. Even 30 minutes of brisk walking 3 times a week has been shown to provide benefits like improved mood, improved sleep, increased energy and stamina, and increased interest in sex. Guess now we know why your grandpa loves mall walking so much. I'm sure you've heard of mindfulness meditation, probably from the worst guy you know, but it's actually been scientifically proven to help with anxiety and emotional regulation, as well as improving memory, focus, and mood. In fact, some studies have found meditation to be equally as effective as SSRIs, the group of medications most commonly used to treat depression, which is absolutely wild. There are a ton of resources that can help you get started, some of which are linked down below. It may not seem like much, but even a few minutes at a time can start building mental muscles that improve more with each practice and have a positive impact on the rest of your day. And whatever you're feeling, write it down. Journaling has been shown to decrease emotional stress and even has a measurable effect on boosting your immune system. Weird. Listen, we all want to repress our emotions, but unfortunately, that doesn't make them go away. In fact, you're probably going to think about them even more. It's like a 5-year-old saying, look at the brown cat, look at the brown cat, look at the brown cat. You don't care about the brown cat, okay? But the longer you ignore them, the louder they get. So at some point, you have to acknowledge them and say, wow, a brown cat, what a world, so that you can move on. It can also help you develop language to better describe your feelings, which helps other people better understand where you're at. It's like going into a grocery store and feeling overwhelmed because you suddenly can't remember if you need butter, or what to make for dinner, or what tastes do you even like, versus going in with a written list and realizing that you need butter. And yes, that is a taste you like. Just because you're taking your mental health into your own hands doesn't mean you have to go it alone. Support groups exist for depression, anxiety, anger, bipolar disorder, borderline personality disorder, and pretty much every other mental health condition. They do exactly what their name suggests. They support you and provide a way for you to learn from others who have had similar experiences. They can provide some of the benefits of therapy, such as feeling heard, connecting with others, and prompting self-reflection, as well as provide you with other helpful resources. You can do an online search to find specific support groups that apply to you. You may also want to consider 12-step programs like Alcoholics Anonymous. In fact, there's some anonymity available for almost everyone! There's groups like Narcotics Anonymous, Overeaters Anonymous, Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous, Gamblers Anonymous, Workaholics Anonymous, Codependents Anonymous, Hippopotamus Anonymous! For people who've experienced complex PTSD, Adult Children of Alcoholics or Dysfunctional Families, also known as ACA, is a fantastic resource. 12-step programs are typically free or pay what you can, though there may be costs for materials. Check out the resources below for a full list. And if you're an anonymous hippopotamus, tell no one. Most of these things fall under the umbrella of self-care. Now, the term self-care has been sort of hijacked by corporations who want to sell you probiotic bath bombs, so it can be helpful instead to think of self-care more like self-parenting. Check in on yourself like you're your own child and figure out what you actually need. Yes, maybe you do need a treat, but maybe you need to eat your veggies and take a nap. And while you're treating yourself like a child, don't forget the importance of play and self-expression. The vagus nerve is responsible for sending us into our fight or flight mode, but doing things like humming, singing, or vagus nerve exercises can calm it. Express yourself through painting, drawing, playing an instrument, or writing absolutely filthy erotic fan fiction. Do things that you find interesting and that make you happy, that are not tied to making money or being productive. There are also lots of great YouTube channels and personal development books that might be helpful for you, some of which are linked down below. And finally, our last suggestion is the last thing you do every day. Sleep. You should get enough of it. There's a terrible cycle where a lack of sleep contributes to depression and depression and anxiety contributes to a lack of sleep. Giving yourself enough time to sleep is important, but if you're lying awake in bed, there are a few things that can help. It's stuff you already know is good for sleep. It's just a matter of prioritizing those things in your life. Like, try to wake up at the same time every day. Give yourself a bedtime routine that lets you wind down. And avoid screens for 2 to 3 hours before bed. The blue light they put out mimics daylight and suppresses sleep hormones. But also, let's be honest, when has your phone made you feel less anxious and depressed? Remember, not all of this will be right for you in your situation. Don't feel overwhelmed because you're not doing any of this right now. Just pick something that seems manageable and start doing that. The goal isn't to succeed with any of these activities, but simply to start doing them. Maybe pick one of these things and start doing it consistently, instead of trying to fold in 7 new healthy habits at once and beating yourself up for failing. You don't have to fill your bingo card of self-care to start feeling benefits. A little goes a long way. And remember, you're not alone, especially if you like and subscribe. Unless you're a hippopotamus, and in that case, shh.